Hello, and welcome to another edition of this podcast. I am today joined by Nikki. Nikki, would you like to introduce yourself?
Good. Thank you for having me here, Tom. Yeah, my name is Nikki Richmond. I'm a coach and mentor, so I help people, particularly those who are resitting, with their professional exams.
Fantastic. So, what we're going to be exploring in this podcast is some hints and tips in a general sense about being a good accountancy student. So, Nikki, let me ask you a first question. Why is it hard? Why is studying for professional exams harder than a degree, harder than being at school? Why is it so tough?
It really is, isn't it? I think there's probably a few aspects. So, if we're at school, if we're at university, our primary focus is studying. We might have a part-time job, maybe at the weekend if we're at university during the week to help fund that. But once we get to the point of professional exams, suddenly we've got this big qualification. So level seven, it's like doing a master's degree. It's not
Wow.
straightforward.
It's harder, isn't it? It's academically harder
Yeah.
and you've got less time.
Yeah, absolutely. So then it's how do I juggle the studying, the working? Perhaps there's family commitments. Maybe you're living away from home for the first time. There's all these different aspects that all of a sudden can really impact on your resilience to be able to juggle everything.
So it is hard. And I think we have to accept that. Given that we accept that, what are some of the strategies that you suggest and recommend for individuals to kind of cope, really?
I think so. Fundamentally, you want to be, I guess, in the best place you possibly can be physically, mentally. So I like to think of we all know that we need to get some sleep. So making sure again, within your control, how much you can control that. You're getting good sleep, you're eating as well as you can. I know when I was studying, I lived mainly off chocolate and cake, which I would not recommend. You're getting out and moving, don't stop. If you enjoy running, go for a run. If you love dancing, keep that in your schedule somewhere so that you're not completely losing yourself in the process. And I think having great support around you is important. If you're looking on social media and everyone's saying these exams are so easy, maybe unfollow those people for just a little while. Um, so it's around getting that environment right as well. Um,
I,
and
I, I,
and yeah.
I so get that idea of
Mm.
support. I mean, I can remember when I was a student, I would go home to my parents, 48 hours before the exam. So my mum would give me a nice, cooked breakfast. I'll be
Oh,
in a very
nice.
calm environment. I'll be back home,
Yeah.
so that I was in the right mindset for for doing the exam. So yeah, people have got to look after themselves, haven't they? Um, what else can they do, Nikki?
I think another thing is really focus on mindset and how you're thinking about things. Now, often we have this internal voice that just chats away and maybe we don't pay much attention, but sometimes it might tell us things which don't serve us, which don't help us. So I think one thing you can do is be really aware of that voice. So particularly, let's say if you're resitting an exam, you might choose to say to yourself, I am a failure. I didn't pass the exam. But does that help you when you're approaching the resit? Probably not. So we don't want to start telling ourselves I can sit back, put my feet up, and the magic of the world will mean that I'll pass. You still have to put the effort in, but it's thinking about it in a different way. I didn't pass the exam that time. Okay, why? Did I not study enough? Did I not do enough practice questions? Was it a particular topic? And it's then going, okay, I can learn from this, I can move forward and seeking if it was a particular topic, talk to the person who you're going through the qualification with, talk to your colleagues. Maybe you've got a friend who's like really great on particular reporting standard. Go and chat to them. Don't just sit there, take responsibility and try and use it as a learning experience rather than confirmation that you're a failure
I
and this
love
is
that.
not what you should be doing
I
and
love
that
that.
kind of
I love that
approach.
because what you're basically saying is reflect, and
Absolutely.
don't blame yourself.
Mm,
Now, reflect and look for solutions. Look
yeah.
look for support. And the definition of madness is doing the same thing and expecting a different result.
Absolutely.
And so taking ownership of your journey and look and as I say, looking for that wider support. Um, so talk to me more a little bit about mindset. How do you get a positive mindset? How do you encourage your clients to change their mindset in a positive way?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So a lot of the work that I do with students is looking at the beliefs that they hold. So what is it they're telling themselves? Because essentially, and I'm not a neuroscientist, but the more we tell our brains something, the more we believe it and we treat it like fact. So if I tell myself, I can't do this, it's too hard, I probably won't do it. It will be too hard. So it's finding a way, maybe I think Stuart mentioned it on one of your previous episodes, I can't do it yet.
Yet. Oh,
Or
I
just
love that word. Three-letter word. Such a lovely.
just
I
like
haven't
pop at the
passed
end.
my driving test yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just or whatever kind of phrasing, resonates with you, just finding a way to just turn it into something positive. So as I said, not rainbows and unicorns and everything's great and wonderful and it's gonna magically by osmosis pass this exam. But thinking about it in that way, so turning those beliefs around. Another exercise I sometimes do is looking for evidence. So I'm telling myself I'm a failure. Where's the evidence? Is it just this one exam? A lot of the people I work with, they've done amazing things. They've done all their school education, they've got degrees, they've worked in lots of different areas, they might have other professional qualifications, so they can do, there is a lot of evidence to suggest they can do this. But then it's finding out, okay, what is that bit? What is it that's causing you to think that? And just unpicking that a bit, and removing that barrier, I suppose, that mental barrier to help them then succeed.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly believe that the people on my courses and the people who've sort of signed up for doing the exams are capable of passing the examination. It is, though, a question of having the right support in place and having the right mindset and having the right opportunity, you know. And I think one of the things I often talk about is trying to get the buy-in of your loved ones. If you're the one who always does the shopping, if you're the one who always does the cleaning, if you're the one who always runs the domestic chores, maybe, just maybe, that can be revisited by someone else in your life, maybe even just for a temporary period. People need to give you a bit of slack, a bit of support, because these accountancy exams are life changing. These accountancy exams, well, they were life changing for me, and they make a difference to your job. They make a difference to your career. They make a difference to your income. And maybe it's a slightly old fashioned word, but there is a sacrifice involved. There's short-term pain for long-term gain. So yeah, very, very, very much so. Nikki, if you could recap, and if you could include in that recap how people might be able to get hold of you and if they wanted to reach out to you directly to have a one-to-one conversation. But if you could recap for me, please, some of your key strategies that we talked about today.
Absolutely. So I think it's that acknowledging that this is difficult. It might be a challenge bigger than something you faced before. But it's looking at that well-being. So, looking at the things you can control in your sleep, your movement, your nutrition, your mindset, which we talked about a lot, having that positive, a growth mindset, a learning mindset, being curious, all of those good things, and having that really supportive environment around you. So whether that's online environment, lecturers, tutors, your institute will have support as well. And just know that you're not alone, I think is the point I would leave people on. Sometimes, especially if you're studying alone, you can think everyone else knows this stuff, everyone's got it nailed, that they know what they're doing. But I'm not sure that's always the case. So do reach out for support. There is so much out there to help you through. If anyone does want to get in contact, I guess the best place is LinkedIn. So I'm on there as Nikki Richmond, FCA, CTA, so many acronyms. And that's NIKKI as well, because I know that that's always it can be a tricky one.
Good. Well, yeah, thank you. And I would just like to echo what Nikki's just said there. Reach out, you know, You are not alone. I specifically can help you pass strategic business reporting of the ACCA exams. But look, wherever you are, wherever you're going, good luck. And thank you very much for joining me today, Nikki.
Thanks, Tom.